Alright guys, Vol here again, made it to the final round. Let's just get through this one. After 4 wins, I was up against one of the top seeds. This was Doug Sainsbury, and Doug actually managed to win Battlecry last year, so he's the defending champion. He managed to just sneak it over Charlie, who normally wins the tournaments, because of the way that comp scores are handled at Battlecry. A lot of the 40k tournaments around New Zealand nowadays are going for minimal comp, or no comp at all. So everybody takes these tough lists, but then again, there's no way for you to sort of just win 3 out of 6 games or 2 out of 6 games and shoot to the top just because your army is very soft. Anyway, Doug is a very, very good player, experienced, and he is taking actually quite an interesting army. It's the new Grey Knights Codex, but he's using the special character Kotiaz. It's the guy holding the falcon or eagle on his hand or shoulder or whatever it is, and he's taking lots of rhinos and a chimera, full of just various different tactical sort of squads. Well, not tactical squads per se as Space Marines, but squads with a lot of different tactical options. The mission is simply to kill your opponent's general, like the most expensive HQ choice that they have, and if you can't do that, if both players have got their commander surviving, or if they're both dead, then it goes down to victory points like it was in the previous round. No night fighting, just a pitched battle. I thought this was a really stupid scenario. I think the TO probably shouldn't have introduced it. I mean, I know that a lot of people like the wacky fun ideas because it's just like a silly game, but it's kind of dumb. I mean, some people. I walked around the tables that other people were playing on, and I saw lots of, commanders just hiding in the corner of the table, like just about, every third table I went to. I mean, if you're playing Chaos and you've got a Demon Prince or something like that, you can't hide him anywhere. It's just impossible for you to stop him from getting shot. But if you've got an independent character in a mob of 20 orcs that happen to, or even 10 guys that are in a tank, then you're fine. Anyway, this particular game didn't matter too much because both of us had that type of commander, the type that would, sit back in a tank. So here it goes. I've got the first turn and just lining up to get some killing done. Kotiaz has got a special rule where he can re-roll the season initiative, but he didn't manage to pick it off. Kotiaz himself staying in reserve. Go to the next photo. He's actually huddled up and turtled up into a corner, which is quite a clever thing to do. I mean, I'm not up with the finer points of how to play 40k really, really well, but obviously this is one of the tricks that you use if you're in a sort of matchup where it's going to be a bit of a shootout, and you have to play conservatively to get the win. So that's exactly what he's done. Next image, Kotiaz himself is actually hanging out on this rhino in reserve, waiting to come on. I've got an officer of the fleet, so he won't come on fairly early unless he rolls very high. But that's probably a bad thing. I actually want him to show up, just in case I get an opportunity to shoot him. Next image, moving out in my first turn and just raking into the tanks. I've actually spread the Vendettas out and just trying to get as much shooting as possible. The tank that you see in the middle of the photo to the back of my lines, that has the company command squad in it, which obviously I need to preserve in order to avoid a very decisive defeat. Next photo, first round of shooting goes very, very well, actually nailing one of the dreadnoughts at the back and immobilizing the front 3 vehicles, causing a traffic jam for the rest of his army. So that was a really good first turn, getting me into an advantageous position. All I need to do now is just to secure a bit of a shootout. But one thing that cropped up here that really just took me back was that he then said that Grey Knights have a special rule where, if they pass a leadership check on a 10, like a psychic test, on a 10, they actually ignore all shaken and stunned vehicle damage table results, which I thought was massively, well, I wouldn't use the word unfair because, they have disadvantages too, but in this sort of matchup, I would have thought I would have had an edge just taking more tanks, more guns, but realistically, in a war of attrition here, you're going to get lots of glancing hits. You're going to roll a lot of 1s and 2s anyway, and his army ignores that, whereas if he shoots back at me with all his autocannons and psi cannons and so forth, he's going to stun lock me a lot, and that will allow him to win the war of attrition. Next photo, going to his first turn, just moving out with the vehicles that he can move with, and getting his dreadnoughts into position, and just laying down a withering hail of firepower back at me, stunning a lot of my vehicles as predicted, and really just hunkering down for the long term. Some of his guys getting out of the squads, they can actually be quite hard to destroy with all that power armor, and each squad has a couple of weapons which can actually do a lot of damage to vehicles. Next image, I believe this is my turn too, just spreading out some more with the tanks that I do have. And trying to get some more hurt on him, although this second turn I have was much less substantially lucky. I mean, I missed a lot of shots, failed a lot of armor penetration. He had smoke smoke launches up now, so he was passing a lot of cover saves, so just generally not getting anything done. Next image, Doug's second turn, moving further forward with the infantry, which is going to become a problem later, because if I spend too much time shooting at them, I'm going to lose the shootout against the tanks, and each squad has a couple of guns which of course can rend my vehicles to death, and with a lot of open-top stuff in my lines that he's getting in range of, that's going to cause me a lot of problems. He's also got the assassin squad, which I'm not too worried about, but it's going to come down to victory points at the end of the day, and if he kills more vehicles, which looks likely, he will be ahead. Next image, really unluckily, he has fired some of his guns at my demolisher, managed to get a really lucky rend on it and wrecked it, which was a pain in the ass because I really wanted this tank to survive. It was my toughest tank, spearhead of the army really, but it has carked it already. So that substantially lessens my firepower and gives him a big chunk of victory points as well. Next image, Kodiaz has rolled a 6 for his reserve roll and showed up, and of course just hanging back behind the wall of disabled tanks. So there really is nothing I could do there. I mean, if I shoot that tank and happen to get lucky and kill it, Kodiaz is by himself with a retinue of guys. He can always just embark on in another tank. So I'm unable to win the game decisively that way and get around the disadvantage that I'm at with the shooting side of things. Next image, things just going worse. He continues to pelt me with autocannon shots. Strength 8 autocannons, how unfair is that? And strength 6 heavy bolters, so no problem for him to crack my tanks at the end of the day and leave my infantry squads out in the open. So just conceding more and more victory points as the game goes on. Next image, over the other side here, there's been a bit of a skirmish involving my tanks versus his Grey Knights, which have been really hard to put down. I removed all of the guys in one squad except for one member, and all he did was just get back into one of his tanks with that one guy. So that's a lot of victory point denial right there. Next image, just taking a step back, most of my tanks are dead and burning, and this is in fact the last photo of the game and the tournament. I lost fairly decisively here to a better opponent and probably a more well thought out list. On paper, my army had the advantage. You can see all the paper on the ground, which is meant to represent wrecks from vehicles having blown up. But yeah, it was a good tournament. I didn't have a bad time at all. It was quite entertaining. At least, my army saw sunlight for the first time. By the way, guys, I am actually thinking about selling the Imperial Guard. They're a half-painted army, so if you're interested in them, get in touch. Obviously, all of the plastic and resin is worth a mint, but it's half-painted, so this would be more of an army for a person who wants to play competitively in the 40k scene, maybe at the ETC level, who really likes doing up armies that are half-done. I mean, all of this, or the assembly and spray painting is done for you. All you got to do is the fun detail work, and if you enjoy that, then maybe get in touch about buying the army. Otherwise, it'll sit around until maybe next year or sometime where I feel like cranking it out if I find the occasion. I ended up coming middle of the pack, even though I won 4 games, because I already had a low comp score from the army. I got another comp hit from having to correct a mistake I made after submitting it, and of course, I'm not a painted army, so therefore I couldn't have hoped to even come top 10. Kudos to some of the other guys. Charlie winning the event overall. My buddy Dave coming second, even though he won only 3 games. He deserved second because it was a comp scores tournament, very much oriented to how soft or hard your army was to begin with, and he had the best painted army as well, so that's why he got there. And third place was, I think, Mark Buttle with his Eldar. So really cool stuff. The other guy that beat me in the first round, Dave Wilson, managed to come like 6th or 5th or something, I think 6th. So well done to him. And thanks to you guys for, again, supporting me and watching my YouTube battle reports. Catch you later, guys.